Your senior studies can be an incredibly exciting period of time for you, but it can also be an immensely stressful period if you don't know what you're doing. With an onslaught of exams and assignments, it can be difficult to navigate the study to ensure that you perform as successfully as possible. Thankfully for you, I have compiled a guide with some tips and tricks to perform as well as you possibly can academically. So first of all, let me point out that everything that you do in class, that helps you to achieve your end goal to perform as well as you can on that exam. It all starts in the classroom with the learning. So if you're that kid sitting at the front of the class, taking down those notes on redox reactions and making sure you have a thorough understanding of what's going on, not just doing the bare minimum, then you're going to put yourself in a massive advantage to everyone around you who's just scraping away at the bare minimum. If you have a kid sitting in the back of the class, getting away with playing video games on his computer, when everyone else is going to be revising content, you're going to be learning the content for the first time. It's going to be a recap from your exam. You'll have a whole syllabus of content to cover, and you won't know what to do. That's going to be detrimental to your performance, and you may not perform as well as you otherwise. In fact, I'll tell you, you certainly won't perform as well as you otherwise could if you were paying attention in class. So pay attention in class, make sure you are using your opportunity to actually learn, and go a step further. Take those extra notes and make sure you are getting a solid understanding, not just getting away with the bare minimum. Now, your position in class is also quite important. I'm not saying avoid the back of the class like the plague, but there does seem to be a correlation, not a causation, but a correlation between where students sit in the class and how they perform academically. So that's something to keep in mind. And this might in part be due to the fact that at the front of the class, you can more easily see what's going on and potentially less likely to get distracted. And then homework. Everyone, grades 7, 8 to 9, they absolutely dread it. But what you'll come to realise is the homework is there to help you. It's there to ensure that you are reinforcing the content, and it's there to help you achieve the best possible outcome in your exams. So please do the homework. Come grade 10, teachers are going to be less likely to check you for your homework, which means the responsibility now falls upon you to make sure you do the homework, and if you can, go a step further beyond that. So speaking of homework, let's move on to my next point, or the next phase that you should be looking at. What you do at home. So at home, it's important that you study, especially grades 10, 11, and 12. You need to make sure you're getting on top of all of the content, you are revising it, and potentially looking at some external resources other than what your teacher tells you, the notes that you write down. Maybe you do review your notes, but also look at the textbook, and if necessary, do a bit of further research. Now, timetables. That's an interesting thing. I've heard a few teachers or few head of years push timetables. Me personally, I have found that I don't really need one. I just study when I can. But for some people, timetables can be an incredibly beneficial tool for them if they've got an incredibly busy schedule. Now, whilst I'm talking about said timetables, make sure you give yourself enough time to study. If you've got a part-time job and you're doing 12 extracurricular activities, you need to make sure you give yourself enough time to study for your work as well. So maybe think about what extracurricular activities you're doing. If you're a casual worker, how many hours you're doing. You wouldn't want to compromise your potential performance on an exam because you've got a shift the night before, or you're working 10 hours a week when some of that time could have been used to optimize your study, to revise concepts. Procrastination. Everyone's guilty of this. I'm not saying it can be avoided entirely, but please keep in mind that whenever you do procrastinate, you do impact your potential performance on the exam. So if you find that you let's say that you have you find you have a concentration span of about 50 minutes. I think most people do before before your focus drifts off and you lose focus. I'd say take breaks after these periods of time, like maybe a 10-minute break for every 15 minutes or whatever works for you to make sure that you stay focused. And whilst I'm talking about procrastination, the other side of it is to also take away distractions. So if you've got this gaming setup right next to where you study, chances are you're going to be distracted by the gaming. If you've got Tetris or whatever installed on your computer and you find that is distracting you, maybe delete the app so you can focus on your study, so that temptation is removed. Do whatever works for you. And nutrition and sleep. Nutrition is incredibly important, especially if you're doing late night cramming. We'll get onto that in a moment. And sleep. You should really be aiming for 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Getting less than 8 hours, 1 or 2 nights in a week, not going to kill you, but the more sleep you get, the better you're going to perform. And the reason for that is when you're sleeping, your body is not only regenerating itself, your organ systems repairing themselves, but your brain is also carrying out a number of very important processes. When you get over 8 hours of sleep a night, your brain is you'll be able to remember your stuff more effectively than if you don't get enough sleep. Okay, night before the exam. Exam's tomorrow, and you're just trying to work out what do you need to do the day before the exam, the night before the exam. I was just telling you how sleep is incredibly important for learning. It's also incredibly important for your concentration span, and you want to feel your best for the exam. So please make sure you get at least 8 hours of sleep the night before your exam. And also, nobody likes a stressful exam morning. So have a look for your equipment. Make sure you got everything you need at least the night before. Ideally, check a few days before, but at the very least, make sure you've got everything in your bag the night before, so you're all ready to go in the morning. Now it's test day. Your nerves might be creeping up. You might have butterflies in your stomach. Okay. What I would say is stay focused on the end goal. This is just one exam of many. Try not to cram stuff in the morning of the exam or the morning before the afternoon of the exam. So yeah, the morning before the afternoon. You don't want to overdo it. 2 hours of study on the day of the exam in the whole scheme of things is nothing. You're better off saving your energy to prepare for the exam and staying focused. And most importantly of all, stay relaxed. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I know everyone, including myself, can tune. Like me personally, I was quite stressed before my exams, but remembering that it's just one exam of many, and my performance can be optimized by just giving it my best and staying as relaxed as possible. That is something that personally helped me. So make sure you are as relaxed as you can be. If you've got friends absolutely stressing about the exam, try to stay away from them. They clearly haven't prepared properly. Maybe they didn't watch my video and follow my advice, but that shouldn't impact you. Well everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and best of luck for your exams this year.